The U.S. housing market went from red hot to lukewarm, and it's about to go ice cold. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we are about to take this housing market from red hot, euphoric, the biggest housing bubble ever produced in world history, to ice cold. Are you seeing what's going on out there? I'm pretty sure you are. If you're new, subscribe right away. There has never been a more important time in history to get ahead of this one, to be forward thinking, critical thinking. This is insane what we continue to have to talk about. My goodness, my friends, very insane indeed. Today we're going to try to learn a little bit, try to understand, be forward thinking, critical thinking right now. Like I've always said, only a prepared mind is going to be able to see the opportunity that's coming. And friends, let me just tell you, this is getting insane. The federal government is raising interest rates further. We have already stifled the red hot housing market. And it's, believe me, friends, the price reductions are rolling in at record pace. This one is alarming, very alarming. I know a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what's going on out there. I always like to try to temperature check and heat map the U.S. housing market, because everything hinges on the U.S. housing market. If we lose the U.S. housing market, we in fact lose everything. Everything relies on the U.S. housing market, and we're about to lose it. We are at massive crash risk. It's just, you know, I've been talking about this for a while, and I know many of you have been on board. I know many of you have gotten on board. The reality is, like I always say, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. When you produce a bubble, a housing bubble, it's gonna have crash risk. The problem, or the challenge with this one, is this isn't just a garden variety housing bubble. This is a super bubble, the fastest bubble ever produced in world history, to all-time, never seen before highs. That is dangerous, my friends. It went from red hot to lukewarm, and now we basically are about to dump ice water on this, as the federal government has said their goal is to tackle inflation. And if it crashes the markets, they've pretty much said it without using those exact words. They are prepared to do that. I feel so bad for the people that bought in the height of the biggest real estate bubble, the Fomo, and they didn't just give asking price, over asking price, above appraised values, and didn't check the health of the house, waived inspections, not knowing the health. That was the most absurd thing I've ever seen. I just knew this one does not pass the smell test. It's gonna have blowback. The dust will settle, and we will pay the piper. So moving forward, getting out of the problem, in the solution, we have to understand what's in front of us right now. And folks, let me just tell you, like I said, this is much bigger than real estate. I know many of you understand how big this really is. There is a lot of political strain going on out there. Whew, insane. Like I have to stay in my lane with the real estate industry, but believe me, I am very aware of everything that's going on out there. And one of the things I've always said, like we're going to talk about right now, you went from a red hot housing market to a lukewarm housing market to a potentially cooling, potentially ice cold housing market. That's correction, recession, depression, hot, warm, cold. Those are the three levels of blowback that occurs to every single real estate bubble ever produced. The challenge with this one, like I've said, the biggest real estate bubble ever recorded in world history might be, in fact, the biggest blowback ever recorded in world history. My job is to hopefully just to raise awareness, to ring the bell and sound the alarm. So when this thing hits, and it's hitting, right? It's playing out in front of us. Whew, Most people are just trying to keep up with their cost of living. They're not understanding the things that we're diving into and dissecting here and just having transparent conversation of the realities of the current situation that we're in. We're at the tail end of a global lockdown, a crisis, a once-in-a-lifetime event to the front end of a recession. And it now becomes what level of a recession is coming. We have to prepare for that. They used to say that most people pre-pandemic should have 3 months of cash reserves in their bank account to weather a storm. 3 months. This thing is going to take 3 years of cash reserves to potentially weather the next storm. And believe me, the people that have that kind of cash reserves are only the ones that are going to be able to muster the strength and courage to go buy in a downed economy, in a downed market, when everybody else is exiting these markets. It's going to grab people, and that herd mentality is going to kick in and take plenty of people with it. Even people with money will recess in a recession. Why? Because everybody else is. It comes down to the psychology of people, the psychology of sales. And that's why I believe personally this channel is going to be so very important. As a real estate guy that came to the biggest super bubble when Fomo was the flavor of the day and said, wait a minute, this is going to have blowback, the dust will settle, we will pay the piper. This is unorganic real estate growth, and everything hinges on the real estate industry. And we're seeing these things cool off in a massive, massive fashion. Whew. Insanity what we're dealing with today, you guys. Insanity. Listen, thank you guys for continuing to support the channel. I read your comments. If you're in the comments, thank you. So many, there's a lot of scams though, and there's a lot of imposters. I see somebody's creating fake Instagram accounts for me these days. Insane what's going out there, the scams. So really, guys, first of all, please be careful in the comments. I see your guys' comments. I participate when I can. But if you see anything that looks scammy, report it. Insane what we have to deal with. But friends, listen, like I said before, if you're new, please subscribe right away. This is the deal, friends. We are headed for some bumpy waters, some rough waters ahead. We have the perfect storm circulating right now to deliver a depressionary level of a recession. The first thing that's going to come is a correction. We are seeing that now. When you see real estate sitting on the market and going through price reductions, that is a correction. The first wave of a recession. If we can't stop at a correction, it's going to enter into recessionary levels. But because real estate lags behind, it's not real-time sales. The data's going to lag, everything's going to lag. And we're hitting recessionary levels of inflation. So the real estate market's going to catch up with that. I predict personally, at minimum, we're in a 2008 style recession. The thing is, for me personally, and this is just me, I believe the biggest bubble ever recorded in world history, which is what we're in, is going to have the biggest blowback in world history. I believe this one takes us into depressionary levels, and I hate to say it, I hope I'm wrong. Listen, friends, like I've told you before, I benefit from this euphoria continuing. I'm a level-headed realist. I've lived through this movie before. I've suffered the effects of recession. I've bought in the height of a bubble before. And believe me, I learned my lesson. I decided to get on the sidelines and sit this one out. Even urged many of my clients to do the same. I'll continue to do that. I'll earn their business later. At minimum, if anything you learn from this channel is to see an agent with their head on straight that's willing to earn your business later and not try to make you drink the Kool-Aid saying, dude, it's supply and demand and the market's going to continue to have some normal stability or growth. There's no stability in these markets, period. Are you watching the stock market? Full of pain, full of panic and fear. We are one news event away from a race to the bottom. And even if we don't get it, it's a slow motion race to the bottom. Watch this one play out. Personally, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say I believe a left field black swan event is going to come shock these markets, although I'm halfway expecting it. I believe even if we head through the natural progression of what we're going through right now, by the end of this summer, we are going to be seeing the true colors of the housing market. Inventory Every property on the market going through price reductions. The only way to get a property sold will be pre-pandemic level pricing. That is the only, I think we're going back to pre-pandemic level pricing. I think many of these new builders, these investors, these Wall Street formed companies are going to be liquidating, and it's going to drag other property values along for the ride. Like I've always said, real estate is local. Different areas will behave differently, but when you start to see liquidations occur across the nation, it has a spillover effect. It drags other areas that were relatively sound along with it. That's really the hard pill for me to swallow when I see these booms. These boom towns just be built in a pandemic, and everybody that piled into these new boom towns all bought in the height of a super bubble. Those areas could have a very, very bad look. It happened in the last Great Recession of 2008. You probably heard about copper piping being stripped from homes, the foreclosure crisis, how people could stay in their homes without making their payment up to 2 years before they were finally forced out. That's how bad the last recession got. And that was a garden variety housing bubble. This is a super bubble. In my opinion, we have to really expect the unexpected, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Hopefully we come out somewhere in the middle. In final thoughts, I come to you today as a friend, as a content creator, somebody who wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understanding buying in the height of a super bubble might have some blowback. Buying outside the bubble hopefully will produce some millionaires. Understanding you can sacrifice now, be willing to live in a shoebox temporarily to buy up a couple of investment properties, that's going to be the path to wealth. Buying your primary home will not make you rich. In fact, if you buy your home and it goes upside down in value, you don't own the home anymore. It owns you, and because you put so much pressure to own that home, you're going to hang on to it till the bitter end. You have to, like I always say, the first step of getting past a problem, admit there's a problem. The first step of moving away from that is acceptance. Once you accept the situation, you're ready to move away from it. I'm going to help many people navigate through upside down purchases and how to get out of that. It's not going to be easy, but it's very possible, and you'll learn some very important lessons that you won't regret. But you certainly won't want to repeat them, because repeating the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, is in fact the definition of insanity. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you're watching from your television set today, another video should be coming into your screen at this time I think you would enjoy, along with an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate here in America, there's an email in the description for you as well. I have a network of top-rated agents in the world ready to assist you. As always, thank you for your time today. Please go make it count. I'll see you on the next video.